Okay. Okay, okay, let's start right now. So welcome guys to our sixth lesson in Roblox Studio course. And today we're going to be working with a castle game, and we are going to learn a lot of things about lighting. We are also going to learn about Roblox events. Okay, so it's going to be part of some scripting, but you don't have to script. I already put the script inside the map, so you can just look and see what the script does. Okay. Okay, so can all of you go to chat and open the file that I sent? It's called Castle Game Class 6. Okay, so just double click the file and open it. When you do, just tell me, so you can say, you can type one in the chat or just give me a thumbs up reaction to show me that you opened the file. Okay. And so yeah, when you open the file, it should look something like this. Okay, so there should be like a huge castle, and you should see everything, including the different trees and the sky and a lot of that, like a lot of like those stuff. Okay, so try opening the file right now, and I'll give you guys one more minute just to open the file. And if you're having some trouble, just unmute or send a message in the chat to let me know. Okay. Okay, I'll show you guys how to do it. You can just click on this, and if nothing happens, it's probably like loading. So just give it a few seconds. Just only click it once. Don't click it too many times because you open many files and it's going to be very laggy. So okay. So right now I'm showing what the map should look like. Something like this. It's a huge castle, and we are going to play it very soon. So just try to wait for a minute. And yeah, if you're new, just remember that you can move around in Roblox Studio by using the right click to look around, and you can use WASD on your keyboard to kind of move around in like the map, and you can try to like go inside many places, right? We are going to talk about it very soon. So okay, Ethan, Colin, have you guys opened the Roblox Studio file? Justin, Leo, how about you guys?
Sure.
Okay, all right. Ethan, have you opened the file? How about Colin? So just if you finish, just okay, good. If you finish, just give me a thumbs up. Okay. All right, nice. Okay, I see that Justin, Ethan has opened the file. Okay, I'm going to close this one because I have another one open here. All right, so while you guys are finishing opening the castle, let me just kind of go through what's in the game, okay? So first, if you go inside the game, you'll see many different things like the castle hall, the barracks, and also the castle gates. Okay, so let me just show you in real quick. And if you want to play the game, very simple. You just have to press the blue triangle on top here, which says play. And when you click on it, you can go inside the game. Okay, so we are going to go inside the game, and this should be what you're seeing, right? You see many houses, you see a gate here. So that's the castle gate, right? And right now you can see that it's closed, right? There's nothing, you can't really go through. You can go outside up there, but you can't really go through the gates. So we are going to talk about how to open the gate and why the gate can be opened if you click something, okay? So that's going to be about Roblox events, and we will talk about it very soon. And if you go inside here and you can see this a house with 2 floors. And when you go inside, you can just go inside by pushing. So just hold your move arrow and you should be able to go inside, and you can see many weapons, right? So remember last class we talked about item givers, and here you can also find many weapons. So if you want to use one, you can just press, okay, let me just close these two. You can just simply press the weapon. And when you press 1 on your keyboard, you can hold out your weapon, okay? And if you want to use your weapon, you can just click and you can kind of swing your sword, okay? And right now the animation is not very good. It's because the animation is just really badly made. So we are going to talk about animations in future classes, and you'll know how to make the sword move better, okay? So you can go out with your sword, and right now there are no zombies or anything, so you can't really use that sword, but we can try putting in something that will allow you to use the sword, okay? So you can press 1 again or click to unequip, to basically put the sword away. And when you go up the stairs and go into this door, then you see a great hall. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. It's the castle hall, and it's the biggest room in the castle in this map. You can see many decorations, right? You can see different flags, and you can see this armor stand. You can't really use it. I don't think so. And you can see this guy saying, changing the material and color of your items can make them unique. Basically, he's telling you that you can, when you exit the game, you can click on the item and change the color to make it look very cool. And I'll show you how to do it later, but you should be able to know how to change the color by now. And right now we're in a great hall. And if you go up the tower, so when you go through the hall, you should see a tower, and you can move up the tower by just walking around the stairs, and you go to a huge opening, and that's the top floor of the castle. And you can see, you get a very good view, and you can see the things outside, right? So a lot of different trees and mountains, looking very cool. You can even climb up the ladder to go to the very top, right? And or jump down. So you can just jump down the tower. Right now there's no damage, so you can jump as tall as you want. Okay, so that's basically all the stuff in the castle. Let me go back to the slides. So that you remember seeing the castle hall. The bedroom, okay, I'll show you the bedroom later, but it's a room. When you go to the second floor, the room above the castle hall, you can go to different bedrooms. So maybe a challenge for you to find where the bedroom is and look around, right? So the castle hall connects the bedroom and tower. So I can kind of go in without playing the game. And you can see in this door, there's the castle hall. And when you go up the ladder, I mean the stairs to the second floor, then you can see the different bedrooms by going in the door here. And you can see the bed, and there are many different bedrooms. And this one is very cool because there's a guy inside it, and there's like a machine. So, but it's also a bedroom. And there are also some empty rooms. You can try putting some stuff in if you want. So these are the bedrooms. It's connected to the castle hall and the towers. And you can see that it's made with rock material, right? if you look at the walls, they look very cool with like the rock texture. And this is you using the rock material. You can also try using it by going to materials and selecting rock. So you can see some texture that looks like rock. And there are also many torches with moving fire, right? So if you look here, you can see a torch on the wall, and on top there's some fire that's moving, right? I will teach you how to use this later, but it's called the special effects using something called fire, and it's not that hard, but you can see that there's some fire burning, which makes the place look very cool. And there's also many lights, right? So that's the castle hall. And you can also see some barracks. So in the barracks, um, that's the one I showed you with the different swords, right? So you can kind of go in here and you can see the many different swords. So you can go in from the opening, you can get many weapons from it. You can see the swords here, and they are basically item givers, right? They give you an item if you click on it. And if you remember from our last lesson, we built a zombie game. And if you want to get the items, you just have to step on it, right? But for this item giver, you actually have to click on the weapon to get what you want. So right now, for these swords, you have to click on them to get the swords, right? And it's also using something called Roblox events, and which is what we'll be talking about very soon. Okay. And now we go into the castle gates, right? So the castle gates is very interesting because there's this door which is closed, but if you click something, you can actually open it. Okay. So maybe you guys can try going inside the game and try finding out how you can open this gate. Okay. There is some way to open this gate, which is very cool. And there is some really cool animation that lifts up the gate. So if you can find this place, oops, it's basically a small like wood piece and there's some ropes. And when you click on it, it'll actually lift the gate up. And it's inside this gate right here. So you guys can try to find it, but I'll also try opening it very soon. And this opening and closing thing is made with scripts, right? So remember we talked about what scripting is. Basically, scripting are lines of code, right? So let me just show you very quick what it kind of looks like. So this is scripting. There are many lines of code and you use it to do some action to control the game, right? To maybe make a bullet fly, maybe you want some part to teleport, or maybe you want some zombie to follow a player, right? So these are all done with scripts, and they are lines of computer language. And with Roblox Studio, we use a language called Lua, Lua, right? Remember? We use the Lua language to tell the computer what you want to do to the players and to the game, right? So this script, I would say it's actually about giving the player a weapon, and it looks very complicated, right? You don't need to know this yet. We are actually going to be looking at this script, which is about opening the gate. So we'll get into it very quick, but right now, feel free to go inside the game and try to open the gates, okay? So that's your task right now. Go inside the game and see if you can find a place to open the gates, okay? I'm also going to the game, and if you can't find it, just follow where I am. So I'm going inside the game. And you can see how we always land on a spawn location So you can see this sun. Every time you go inside the game, you will appear on top of the spawn location, right? So you can see the gate on our right, and it's closed like always. So in order to open it, first we have to go up this ladder, okay? So just go here and you'll find a huge ladder, climb up the ladder, and you will see when you go inside here, you'll see some ropes and a wooden pole or something, right? And you see how when you move around your mouse, and when you kind of go on top of this wooden pole, then your mouse icon changes from the original mouse into a hand. Okay, so you guys should look at my screen right now and see how there's a difference here. And when you go on top, there's a different hand, small hand that does like this, right? So this means that it's a click detector. And when you click it, something is going to happen, okay? So when you click it, you see how it turns. So now it's turning. And when you look outside here, let me just jump down. You see that the gates are open, right? So remember in this photo, the gates are closed, right? But now we open the gates by clicking on that button. And now we can go in the castle and go out the castle and go on the bridge, right? So this is how you can open the gates. And let's see if we can close the gates, okay? So go up the ladder, you will find the thing. And when you click it, it should turn. And it's not really closing. Maybe it got kind of bugged, but try kind of closing the gates, but I'm not sure why the script doesn't work right now. You can close it. Just can click it again. You can see how it's kind of stuck. So this is something bad about the scripting, right? Oh, now it's going down. Okay. So maybe sometimes it's a bit buggy, but now you see, oh, now the gates are back up. So maybe I clicked it one more time and I made it go back up. So you can see how every time I click the gate, then something happens, right? So I want you guys to remember this. So it's still going. When I click it, then something happens to when and it starts moving, right? Okay, so it's lagging. So I'll go back and go in again. Okay, so I just showed you guys what happens when you click on the wooden pole, right? And you notice how when I click on it, then the wood starts moving, right? So it doesn't move until I click on the wood, all right? So let's go back in again and let's see one more time. So let me just go on top. And now let's see if we can close the gates because it should be able to close it. So let's, oh, maybe you don't close it. I'm not sure. So right now we're opening the gate, and how it works is that using the ropes, it's pulling the gate up. So now you can see that the gate is up. Let's see if we can, let me see. Okay, so let me just try clicking it again. Oh, maybe it's here. Oh, so this one is actually very interesting. This one actually pulls the whole floor thing out. So now you see that even this has lifted up, right? So that the thing I was at, it actually opens up this bridge and it pulls the bridge up. See? So it's kind of the same mechanic, but okay. So, oh, my Roblox studio just quit for some random reason, but okay, let's go back to the slides. And you will see how, like when I click it, then the bridge, this is pulled up by the rope, right? So how does Roblox Studio even do this, right? And they do it by using something called Roblox events. So we will talk about Roblox events right now. And of course, you use Roblox events with scripts, right? So remember, events are written in scripts. And let me just tell you guys what an event is, okay? So imagine that you want to write a code that fires a bullet in a gun, okay? But how do you know when the user is going to fire the gun, right? So if one of the things you want to do is I want the bullet to shoot out of the gun, right? So what begins your code? Or if you want to use more professional language, what triggers the gun, right? Who made the gun shoot the bullet out? It's going to be the player, right? So an event is basically the trigger or the thing that starts your code, okay? So you can see this diagram here. Let me, for example, if you want a player to get some money by clicking a button, right? So when the user clicks the button, then you give the money, right? So if the user doesn't click the button, then the user gets no money. So the first thing that runs the code is going to be when the user clicks the button, right? So the first thing is that the user does something or the player does something like clicking a button or maybe stepping on something like the item giver, or when the player is pressing a button like spacebar, right? So the user interacts with the game, and then the game tells my code that, oh, the user clicked a button, or the user pressed something, or the user stepped on something, right? So these are all things that that the game knows, and it will tell the user with that. So after the event happens, basically after the player does something, then the script begins to run, right? So then you can run something based on what the player did. So basically an event trigger is what I said. It's when a player clicks something, and it doesn't have to be the player. It can be when a zombie dies, when the game starts, or when the game ends. Basically something that happened that causes something else to react, right? It's a cause and effect. So something caused my code to run, and then something happened, right? So, and the code only runs when the event happens. So I will not, the gates will not open until I press the button, when I press the wood, right? The gate will not open when the game starts. The gates will open when I click the button. So me clicking the button is going to be the event, okay? So if you have any questions, you can ask, but I'm pretty sure this is not difficult because it's not a hard concept, okay? So remember that events basically are things that makes the code run, or yeah, basically. And you can see here that this is an example of an event, and it kind of says something like a click detector. When a user or when a player clicks a click detector, which is something you use to check if the player clicked on something. So this is basically saying when the player clicks on the wood. So remember, let me just go back. This piece of wood. So that's the wood you clicked on to open the gates, right? So when the player clicks on this, then this code will run, basically saying that, oh, the event happened, so now I'm going to open the gates. So it's used with, you can see here, there's a colon, and there's a connect word, okay? So when you see something like connect and the colon, and you can see a format that looks something like this, it will likely be an event. Okay. And there are also many examples like dot mouse click, which is when you click something with a mouse, and maybe a humanoid died, which is also an event that Roblox gives you. Okay. So these events are all given by Roblox. So you can't make your own event. Not until I teach you how to do it. But remember that right now you should always use Roblox events like dot mouse click or mouse button one click. And I'll tell you guys about it later when we're learning UI. But right now, just understand that this is an event, okay? So right now, let's look at a script from the game that opens the gates, okay? So let's try to find this code inside our game, okay? So I'm just going to open the game very quick, and you should be able to find this game. Find the code inside the file I sent you guys, okay? So now I'm inside the game, and first, let's try to open Explorer and Properties from the view screen, okay? So if you're new, just remember that first you click on the view button on the top, you can see many buttons, and then you will see Explorer and Properties. So just click on both of them, right? And after you open them, in the Explorer, you can see a search thing for you to type something in, and you just want to type in script, okay? So you want to type in script inside the Explorer, which basically means that you want to search for all the different scripts inside your game, okay? So you see here that there are many different scripts, but there are some scripts that are not the one we want to use. So you can see that there's a give item script. That's not what we're going to use. And when you kind of go down, you see a script under, so this one's for the gatehouse. You can see a script under a thing called hinge constraint. Okay, so you can see the walls here, and it should be a script inside the hinge constraint, and it's not the one inside the hoister, it's the one inside the gatehouse. Okay, so you can see the gatehouse here, and when it goes in, you can see a script button here. So let me just double click this button, and it will open the script in your main screen like this. If you want to go back to the game, you just have to click here to go back. But right now we're going to look at the script. And now in the script, you can see that first we have some variables that tells like the computer where the hoist and the motor are. And remember just that these two parts are used to open the gates. Okay, they're small parts that the game uses to kind of rotate the rope and make the gate lift up. So you don't really have to know what it means yet. But right now you can see that there's a direction and there's a state variable, right? So these are both variables and they both represent numbers, right? So this one, so direction is now 1 and state is now 0, okay? But in the 6th line, you can see something very interesting. And this is one we talked about. It's an event, okay? So this line basically says, when the player clicks on the wood, then the thing after it will happen. So you'll see how on the first line, you can see that some code is going inside, right? But on the code on the left, the most left row column, you can see that there's an end with a quotation mark, right? So this end basically means that everything from this line, which is the event, until here, all the things in between will run or will happen when the event happens, okay? So when this happens, then everything in here will run, all right? So how do we test this, right? So how do you know this actually runs when we click, right? So we can test it by printing something. So remember in, I think, our second lesson, I taught you guys about the output. So right now, let's open the output by going to view. So go up to view, and you can see here, is it here? Here, it's the second one on top. So just click on the output, okay? So you go to view first, and then all you have to do is click on the output here. So click on this, and there should be something underneath here, okay? Okay. I'll give you guys a minute to open the output and also the script. If you guys have any questions, you can ask by typing in the chat or asking me. So if you open the script and the output, just give me a thumbs up or something. So number one, open the script. Remember, you can open the script by typing script in the Explorer and kind of searching for the script here. Oh, Jack, I see that you're inside our class. I'll send you one more. I'll send you the file that we're using because if you can't see the chat, okay. So I'll send you this again. So Jack, if you can't open, if you didn't see the file, now I sent a new one inside the chat. So you can open it and now you should be in the castle game. Now you can open the script by typing script inside the Explorer and opening the output, okay? Okay, so now let's try to write something that test whether the click detector actually works, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're going to write print. So remember that print means that we are going to output something or tell the computer to write something inside the output, okay? So we're going to press print. Remember the double quotation marks, and inside we're going to write the player opened or the player open or close the gate, okay? So this is what we're gonna type. You can type something shorter like the player pressed the gate or the gate open or close. It doesn't matter what you want to print, but remember to put it inside the quotation marks. It can be anything you want, but just put something that says something in the output so we can see whether the click detector works, okay? So maybe you can just write the player press the gate, doesn't matter. So we're gonna do this and let's press play now and see if it prints. Maybe if it does, okay, so let me see. Okay, let's test it. So let's go up the stairs, I mean the ladder, and when we click on this, it should print a message. So click. Okay, it doesn't print. I'm pretty sure it's because we used the wrong script. Let's see here. Okay, so all right, I think this script wasn't for the one that opens the gate. is for the one that lifts the bridge up. So let's just copy this code. So to here, but you can put the print in both scripts. So you know that so now you know when the player, so this one's for the gatehouse, right? And this one's for the hoister. I think the hoister is for the gates. So you can put the print thing inside both of these scripts, which is inside the wall. So let's try one more time. So now it should print. Now it should print something. So let's see. We're going to click on this. Okay, so when you click on this, now the gates start going up, right? But after the gate went up, you'll see how in the output it printed the player pressed the gate, right? Which is the thing we just wrote. And if you go here, if you go down here, I'm pretty sure there's something beneath here. And when you click on this as well, then you also see this message here, right? So now we know that every time you click on that, then this message will run, right? So we can click on it again, click, and now it says something ×2, which basically means that this message is displayed twice, right? It printed twice. So one more time, and now it's 3, 4. When you click, then something happens here, right? Okay, so let's stop the game. And this is how you know that the click detector is actually working, and it runs whenever we click on the wood, right? So the print is here, and everything inside here will run, okay? So basically that's the portcullis script. That's basically the castle gate script for you guys, right? So, all right, so now we're going to talk about lighting, okay? So this is going to be different from the events because it's something you can change inside the game and not inside a script, okay? So lighting is about how light kind of impacts your game. So you can see a picture here. When you change the lighting, you can actually make the castle be inside the dark, right? Be in in night instead of day. So how can you change it? Well, first, you just want to you can move up to see the whole castle like this. So you can see the whole castle. And now let's delete the script on this thing we typed inside here. And you'll see the Explorer with the workspace and many things. And you'll see lighting here. And you can see how lighting isn't in the workspace. And that's because lighting isn't really an object. It's not a game object that we can see. It's more like a title that's telling you that this thing is about changing the lighting, right? So when you click on the lighting, you'll see down here that there's many things we can change in the properties, right? For example, if you want to change the game into a night scene to make it look more creepy, you just have to change the clock time. So on top we have the appearance, but when you go down, you can see a clock time. And right now it's 12 o'clock, right? Which is noon, which is in noon. So if you want to change it to night, maybe we can just type 20, right? Which is 8 in the night. So now you see how our whole castle is really dark with some lights, right? Oops. So now you see how our castle is in the night. And let's go back to lighting. And if you want to change it back, you can just type 12, or you can type 17 if you want like a sunset, right? And there are also other things you can change, like the brightness, which is how light it is. So now it's 2, you can change it to 0. If you want it to be very dark, even when it's daytime, or you can change it to like 4 to make it very bright, right? So now you can see everything is super bright. And we can change it down to maybe 2, which I think is pretty good. And here you can see different values from 0 to 1. You can drag them to see how the game kind of changes, how it looks, right? So 1, it's like more blue, right? But with 0, it's more like the original color. So this is about value changes, how like maybe the sky or the environment affects the different parts. So right now we're just good with 0. So we'll put it here, and you can also change this, which is to see how also the environment influences the map, right? So you can just change the values. And right here, this is actually pretty cool. It's about how your computer or the server kind of renders the light. So rendering is basically when you generate different how like the shadows and different light appear when you have many parts, right? So you can see how the sun comes down, but there is no actual sun inside the game, right? So how does the game know that which part is going to be bright and which parts are going to be dark? So the game uses something called rendering, and there are many ways of rendering. Some are very time consuming, so they take a lot of time. And some other technology or ways of rendering are easier, but they don't look that good, okay? So we can try switching the first one called compatibility. And this one doesn't look that good, but it's very easy to use, and also it doesn't take a long time to load. So it's going to be better for players who has a less powerful computer, right? It's called compatibility. And voxel is also not a very it's a very lightweight rendering. Basically, like it's easy to render with this voxel method, but there's no shadows. So you can see here that there are very little shadows, and it doesn't look that good. So shadow map is going to be much cooler. So you can see there's different lights here, which makes cool shadows with the trees as well. So shadow map is cool. And the final one, and this one, future, it's basically the same as shadow map, but the lights change and they make it look more dramatic. Okay. So you can see how in shadow light, this is what the hall looks like. But when we switch to future, then everything becomes dark and look a bit cooler and more gloomy, right? But it makes it look very cool. How you can see how the lights have different like these beams. So I would say future looks better, but it's going to be very laggy if you use future. Shadow map is going to be much better. You can see here that even though it doesn't look that good, but it's going to be faster, right? So that's lighting, and you can try changing some of these values as well. So you can't really see anything because you're inside the game. Okay, so maybe you can go outside. When you go outside, you will see that when you change the outdoor ambient, then it determines how you want, if you want the game to be bright or dark as well. So now you can see the shadows are really dark, right? But when you raise the outdoor ambience, then the shadows become less dark, and so now it's not dark, and now it's completely black, right? So you can change it if you want as well. So that's basically lighting, and there are many things you can add to the lighting as well. So here we have an atmosphere, which is basically fog. So if you want to add fog or like different blur in your game, you can use the atmosphere. So right now, you can see that the fog is around like a blue color, and you can change it into different colors by dragging the color palette. So if you want your game to be like like a red color, like very cool red, right? You can change the color of this, or maybe like a blue or green even, right? If you want it to be like that. So you can change many things here. So I'm gonna stick with the blue color, and you can also change how heavy you want the fog to be. So if you want it to be like, all right, this one, okay, if you want it to be like really heavy fog, then you can increase the density. So right now you can see, ooh, this one, mountains doesn't look that good for some reason. Okay, whatever. So here and now you can see now how it's really foggy, right? But when you go down with the density, here, when you change the density to be lower, then it becomes more clear and everything looks a bit unreal because there's no fog, right? But you can increase this. Let me see. Okay. So you can increase this value to make it more foggy. So this one's offset, it's not the fog. This one makes it more foggy and less foggy if you turn it down, okay? All right, I think somebody asked me a question about why they cannot see the Explorer. So yeah, this is in our first class, but the way you open the Explorer is by going to View on top. So you can see View on top. And then you'll see the Explorer and Properties on the left, okay? So you can just click on Explorer and Properties to open it. So number one, click on View, and you can open it here, okay? Right, so that'll be it for the lighting. And right now we're going to, you can change the game if you want, but I'll add some more things in the game. For example, if you want to add zombies from last class into this game, it's actually going to be pretty cool, right? So let's try doing that. If you don't have the zombie from the other game, I'm also send you the file. Let me see if I can find the file from the last game. Okay, it's not here. Maybe I'll open it first. So my challenge to you is that to add the zombie from our last game and put it into this game, okay? And now you have a castle zombie game, which actually sounds very fun, right? So you just want to, I'm going to open the zombie game first, but remember last class we had the zombie. So open the zombie game from the last class. It should be called Zombie Apocalypse. So Apocalypse, yeah. So when you open that game, and so this is something really cool about Roblox. You can actually copy and paste things from one game to another, okay? So I'm gonna teach you how to do it right now, okay? So now you see we are in the zombie game from last class, right? Remember, we have this zombie and all right, I'll send this file inside the chat as well. So let me download a copy. Just calling it zombie game class 5, getting into my downloads, and I can send it in the chat. Zombie game. Wait, I thought I saved it. Oh, it's here. Okay. Zombie game class 5. Okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna send it to everyone. Just wait 5 seconds. Try opening it on your computer. So zombie game. Remember, this is our file from last class, right? So now what you want to do is, okay, I'll give you guys 1 minute to open the file from last class. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy the zombie from this game into our castle game, okay? So now you have a cool castle with zombies inside it, right? So maybe you can make your game have two different maps. One is with the zombies and the other one is with the castle, right? And the other one is this cool like canyon with the different mountains, right? So Ethan told me how he also did the homework. So if you did the homework, then you should have many trees here and different grass, right? So that's from last class. Okay. If you guys opened the game, let's try to copy this zombie into our castle. Okay. So what you want to do is first you want to click on the zombie spawn. So first click on this, and on the left, you'll see a copy button, right? So it's on the top left corner. And remember zombie spawn, you can find it by clicking on it on the map, or you can go down from the Explorer and you'll see zombie spawn here. There's only one for me, but for you guys, there might be many if you put many spawners. So you can select one, click on it, and then press copy on the top left corner, okay? So press copy. And now you can see that when you press copy, the paste button also appears here. If you're using an Apple computer, you can also press Command C to copy the zombie, okay? So after you copy this zombie, you want to go to the castle game, right? And press home on top, and you want to press paste here. Press that, and you should see the zombie spawn appearing inside your other game. So this is one game, and now you copied the zombie from one game to another game, okay? So now you have your zombie spawner here. And what you want to do is, right now it's on top here, right? So we can kind of drag it outside like this. So I'll kind of drag it to here, maybe away from the castle, right? So now you have the zombie spawner in your castle game. Remember in our last class, we talked about how the zombie spawner spawns zombie even after the zombie dies, right? It keeps spawning. So now we have the zombie here. You can try going inside the game to fight the zombie, right? So let's press play. But right now, the zombie might try to go for you inside the castle. But remember, the castle gates are closed, right? So you can see how the zombie here tries to go in the castle, but it's not coming in. The gate is closed, right? So let's try to go out and try to defeat it. All right. So first in our game, we go to the barracks to get our sword, right? So let's first, I'm gonna choose this sword. It looks cool. So now I have this sword. I'm going to go out, and then I'm going to open the gates. All right. So right now, I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to open the gates by clicking on it. Remember, this is done with events, right? So I'll click to open the gates, and then I'll go down the ladder, which is here. So I'll go down the ladder, and now I can go out and fight the zombie. So the zombie is here. It tries to come up, And let me see if the sword does damage. Ooh, the zombie is fast. Okay, I don't think this sword actually works. This sword actually doesn't work. So, okay. I don't think the sword is very good. Maybe you can switch a sword, but a zombie is going to chase me. So I need to go to the barracks quick to switch a sword. Yeah, this sword looks kind of broken. So maybe we can get this one. Remember, if the sword doesn't work, you can always take the item giver from the first game and put it inside the new game, right? So maybe we can try this sword. Where did the zombie go? Oh, it's here. Oh, this one does damage. Okay. So now we are fighting the zombie and we have successfully defeated it. Okay. So now you build a pretty complete game with a big castle, with a sword, weapons to fight the zombie, and you have an enemy, which is a zombie that you can fight with, right? So, all right, let's exit game for now. Okay, so yeah, we can add more zombies. And if you want to put the item givers from the first game into the second game, you can also do that. Just select all three. And remember, you can copy by pressing copy here on top. When you press copy once, and then you go to the other game, let's go inside the castle, and let's go to home and paste, right? So now you see, we don't really see the items. That's because they're over here, and I want them to be here, right? So let's try to move it by pressing home, and you can see the move button here. So let's move all the different items inside, going inside. We can move it inside the castle, right? So they're here. Oh, okay. Wait. I don't think it includes the sword. Oh, I think that's because they didn't. Okay. So you can see how that there's nothing on top of the cylinder, right? And that's because we didn't copy the sword that should be on top of the cylinder. So what we want to do is we are going to delete the three cylinders now. And you can, so when you click on some spot and you drag, you copy all of these, right? So, okay, so we can just copy all six by clicking on the folder. So you can just click on the folder to copy. You can press copy again, just click on the folder and go here, and you can just paste it in. And now we have the swords in here as well. All right. Okay, data connection lost. Okay, so now you have all of these different items in. You can try using them inside the game if you want, but you can try that yourself, but time's almost up today, so I'm not going to try it right now. All right, let's go back to the slides. So basically today we learned about the lighting. Remember, you can change the lighting by going to lighting here in the Explorer, which should be under player and workspace. Okay. We also learned about Roblox events. So this is not a coding class. You are not required to know how to code, but remember that events are something in coding that runs when an event happens, right? So remember that this code, the gates only open when the player clicks the wood, right? So the player clicking the wood is going to be the trigger of the event, or or basically the event, right? And when the event happens, then the gates will open with these code. And we also wrote this print statement that basically writes the player press the button, press the gate when the gate is open, right? Okay. So that's Roblox events. Okay, so for homework, two things. First, try adding the zombie spawners inside the game. Take the zombie spawner from last class, put inside the castle game, and maybe try putting a few more, right? You can also try putting the item givers inside the other game. And for the challenge, try changing the lighting of your game. Maybe change the fog color or change the castle to night, right? So maybe the game will be cool if you fight the zombies at night, right? So change the daytime to night and your game will be more fun. So that's going to be it for this lesson. If you have any questions, just ask right now. But if you don't, you're welcome to leave. And I will see you guys next week. Okay. So that's it. I'll send the slides later. Yeah. I'll end the lesson very soon if you guys don't have any questions. So I'll stop the recording. Here.